you're a systems minded person. You're an SOP person. So let's say that somebody's out in the world and they're going, man, I'm just not getting things organized and done. I'm not making things happen in any way, shape, or form. I need to put some things down. I need to get like a way of doing this. Where would you tell them to start today? What is one simple thing that they could do, or what's a simple process you could walk them through to help us go from no systems to at least the beginning of something?
Man, there's so many places to start. I'll probably start a little analog, and then I'll give you kind of a part 2 to that to go digital with a tool that we use at 1898.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
First thing is you got to get it out of your head. The reason things don't get done is because they just live in your head and they don't live anywhere else. It's not written down anywhere. No one else knows about it. No one's keeping you accountable. No one's doing it with you. Yada, yada, yada. So number one, you got to get it down. I call these brain dumps or mind dumps, right? You can do it on a legal pad. You can do it on a Remarkable. I recently did it on a 2 foot by 3 foot Post-it note in my office, my studio. So you got to get that stuff out first, because it's almost like, I really like, this is going to nerd me for a minute.
Nerd out, buddy.
I've gotten back into Lego recently.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And when you get when you get these adult Lego kits, right? They say 16 or 18 plus on it. There's like 2,000 pieces in them. Right? Well, if you don't open up the box and empty out the pieces and sort those pieces, right? Well, they've done some sorting for you now. Now they have bags that, hey, start with bag number 1. Idiot.
Sure.
So you open up bag number 1, and then you start going through those pieces, and you finish phase 1, right? Then you go on to phase 2, if you will. And so it's the same thing here that we're talking about. So anytime you're trying to get something done, you need to get it out of your head. You need to get the pieces of the Lego kit out of the box. Get the pieces of the puzzle out of the box. The puzzle ain't going to put itself together with the pieces inside the box, and the Lego kit ain't going to put itself together with the pieces inside the box. So number one is you got to get it out on paper, on something away from you, on a Asana, checklist, whatever. Get it out of your head and get it down. Number two, something that we use here, if we're just kind of bring it back into specifically as we're talking about podcasts, keeping you the system that's consistent.
Yeah.
What we use here is what we call a podcasting production schedule spreadsheet, right? Ours live on Google Sheets. We have one for every single podcast client that we have. Yep. And there's simple columns here, like column A. When are you going to record it? Oh. Column B. When are you thinking about releasing it? Imagine that. Column C. What episode number is it? Again, all these things that are just like floating around in your head. Maybe one day I might kind of, this could be here, this could be here. These things are starting to play themselves out in these columns. Next column, episode type. Is it a full episode or is it a segment? Next column, what's the topic? Next column, are you going to have a guest or a co-host? Next column, what's the title of it going to be? Next column, statuses, right? Hey, I've not yet recorded this, or I have recorded this, or it's scheduled. And then there's a column for notes that you can kind of keep your ideas centered around about those episodes as you plan them out. Yeah. So there's that tab, the release date and details. And then I'm going to throw it back to you on this one, Darren. Yeah. Talk to us about the Story Vault. Or did we talk about that on an episode already?
We did. You can go back and find the Story Vault episode. I'm going to try to
13.
Oh, there it is. See, that's why
13.
That's why you have the production
really fast. I'm literally looking at it right here.
That's so good. Man,
the guy outside of his space is so well lit. It's because I have a 32-inch screen here with our CWC Coaching with Content podcast production schedule.
There it is. See,
that's what my lighting's
I love it. Your lighting. Your lighting is epic, I tell you. But no, I love that because you basically took. I love the Lego analogy, if I'm honest with you, dude. And I'll talk about the Story Vault here in a second. But I love the Lego analogy because, man, does that not describe what is often going on in my brain when it comes to this podcast? Yeah, it's like, dude, it is so many random pieces.
Aaron rattling when he's walking down the street.
Yeah, and why does he scream every once in a while? Did he step on one? It's wild. But like, when you at least take, and you've really encouraged me on the brain dumping side of things, and I do that every so often when I start to feel overwhelmed, and so many times that just helps just get that down. And what you just described on the podcast, yeah, the production schedule piece that you just outlined there is just a way of getting things down on paper, and you're able to do exactly what you did. When did we talk about that last? Oh yeah, episode 13. That's great. And so this is what this production thing is, or the SOP and the production schedule. But the Story Vault, that is something that we've started to implement with our clients as well, is just as a way of capturing stories. When you're sitting here having a conversation with somebody, there's so often stories hit. Right? Like they level up the communication of what you're trying, the point that you're trying to make, basically. And so if you're not capturing those stories, then you're missing out as well. And so the Story Vault is just a way of, when a client says something to you and you're like, man, that's really good, let's write it down. When you think of something while you're driving, pull over to the side of the road and pull out the Story Vault and make sure that that's in there as well. But like, it's just a way of capturing those ideas, because too often they're just rattling around in our heads like a bunch of Legos, So
yeah. And I'll say this too about the Story Vault. You and I were just having a conversation about AI on right before we hit record on this episode, about some cool things that I've been finding out that you already knew about because you're smarter than me. But with this Story Vault idea, and this is the first time Darren's hearing this, so maybe a dumb idea, but you got to get it out, right? And this is what we're doing. Yep. We're going to get it out right here, right now, live on this podcast. Let's
do it.
So the best ideas tend to come to us when we're either driving or in the shower.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason is because our brain is focused on a task, and it's an elimination factor of distractions. We've eliminated distractions and we're solely focused on one thing. So our brain can actually function the way it was designed to function. Right. And so the wheels start turning.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, if obviously, yes, you can pull over and write this down. Right. Or you can pull over and you can open up your spreadsheet on your phone and you can start jotting stuff down.
Sure.
Honestly, what I would recommend is just to either voice email yourself or voice record yourself.
Yeah.
To tell the story, right? Drop that transcript into a Claude project called Story Vault, and then let it populate your spreadsheet for you.
Bro, that's kind of some next level stuff right there.
I'm just dropping it. It's just an idea. I'm fresh off some of that AI stuff that I was learning this morning, so I'm just going, why not? Because I'm looking at our Story Vault now. It's not as full. I'm not going to call you out, but it's not super full, right? No. And I'm just going like, you know what? You're talking about while you're driving. Why not just voice it?
Well, Dustin, how many times? Yeah. And how many times do we have these little drive time thoughts?
Oh, bro.
We do these little drive time thought voice memos back and forth to each other, either Slack or text, just saying, bro, I'm thinking about something while I'm driving. And it's like, just the audio recording piece. And what you're doing is you're saying, hey, let's leverage what we're already doing, but just to implement into that Story Vault in some way, shape, or form. Like,
yeah. Like I have a task for my Asana every single Friday that says document client magic moments.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly should move it to daily, because by the time I get to Friday, I forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what that means for what I'm doing is I'm documenting client stories, so that when people go, well, what difference do you even make with your clients, Dustin? Then I can go, here's all the magic that we've been able to create together. And I have those stories ready. We're always looking for little tidbit. If we're talking about coaching with content, we're talking about the content that we want to put out. This is content, folks. We're giving you the SOP to create content in a world in which you already live in, without having to go dig around and search for gold with a metal detector.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I would say, Dustin, if somebody at least started today, and I'm going to go out on a limb to say that I'm going to start that today to fill out that Story Vault a little bit. But if somebody just took that simple voice note to Claude prompt process, I think that would be worth a weight in gold for starting some type of process to make sure that you have your stories captured, but also some kind of SOP.